Kia ora, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about well-being and activism. Uh, if you follow this channel regularly, you will have noticed that I took a little break last fortnight. I try to usually put up a video every couple of weeks, and last fortnight I just needed a break. After that fabulous video that I did with Lenka about the emotions that drive our activism, check it out if you haven't, it's really worth watching. I realized that I was doing a lot of grieving for my experiences within activism, and I'd been doing a lot of grieving on this channel through the different topics that I was approaching. And my heart was tired, and I started to feel like I was at the risk of burning out of doing this channel, which is the complete opposite of what I want this to be. I want this to be about pursuing well-being for myself and for the audience. So I just took a step back. But today I wanted to talk about what I've learned from having a daily home yoga practice. I'm trying to remember to say more often that if you like this content, please subscribe. It just helps. It helps to get the stuff out there to more people. And yeah, if you like this video, hit the like button. It gives me that little bit of validation that keeps me going. Thinking about the heaviness on my heart of the grief and some of the sadness, it just reminded me to try to come back to thinking about those things that help to create a gentle and soothing and moving through kind of container to help with those hard emotions that we can carry in our change work. The other thing that sort of reminded me to come back to this is that I haven't been doing yoga so much lately. Here are just a few thoughts on what I think it can do, or what it's done for me to have a daily at-home yoga practice. And this is really focused on an at-home practice because I think that was something that it took me a long time to realize the value of. And it's only about in the last 5 years that I started really doing a lot more home yoga practice. And that's really through discovering what YouTube has to offer in terms of yoga. And quite early on, I discovered Yoga with Adriene, which if you do any kind of exercise through YouTube, you probably already know about. If you don't, I really recommend that you check her out. I mean, she's very friendly and funny, and just takes some of the pretension out of, yoga can be quite pretentious sometimes. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about, what I've learned about the value of an at-home practice. And one of those things is that there is no social anxiety or pressure. If you've been to yoga classes before and you're anything like me, you will feel, you will have felt that thing of being surrounded by people who are, they might have kind of cooler yoga clothes than you, and they might be able to do the yoga moves better than you, and just that feeling of comparison and stuff. That's all taken out of this, of course, when it's just you. There's none of the thing of having to get out of the house and be a place. Like sometimes you want to do something for yourself and your body and you need something, but you don't want to have to go and deal with other people and being around other people or just show up in the world with anything for other people. You just want to be able to be with yourself, and at-home yoga practice is great for that because it's just you, and with that also means that there's no hassle of trying to be there at the right time, traveling to it, having the right clothing. You can do it in your pajamas. One of the things that I've found most useful is doing yoga, very gentle yoga, first thing in the morning and before bed at night. And I'm by no means consistent in doing both of those things or either of those things all the time, but lovely to be able to just do that in your own home and not have to get to a class straight after work or whatever. It's very much about what suits you and your body in that moment. With a home practice, especially when you've got a big library available of YouTube videos like Yoga with Adriene does, is that you can choose what suits you. You know, usually when you go out and do a yoga class somewhere, you've got a choice of like beginners, intermediate, or difficult, or whatever, but they're all going to be an hour typically. And you know, when you can just choose it at home, you can choose something that is at the level that suits you. If you get partway through and you don't like it, you can stop it and choose a different video. You know, it's not like in a class where you are stuck there, kind of thing. And yeah, you can choose a level that suits you, and the results and the focus that you want to get as well. Like most yoga classes are sort of pitched at one level and stuff, but you can think about, you know, what is your real aim here? Is it just to move your body and feel alive in your body? Is it to build strength and become energized? Is it to help you wind down at the end of the day and release stress? Is it to ease things out of your body, or just be connected with your body when you're feeling distance from your body because you've got too much stuff that you're carrying in your head? You can choose, you know, what you want to get out of it and choose the right kind of yoga practice for you. I think this all kind of comes down to the same thing, which is that it feels like it can be really easy to think that any kind of exercise, whether it's yoga or running or whatever, is primarily about progression. And that's something that I thought for a long time with yoga, you know, that the aim was to keep doing yoga so regularly and keep building up in my skill set so that I could one day be really amazing at yoga, and somehow I would feel better and my body would be amazing or something. And now that's not my approach at all. My approach is that like coming back to yoga, coming back to exercise, coming back to moving my body is like coming back to the breath and meditation. It's just about returning to that focus on what my body needs and what I need in the moment, kind of thing. And so there doesn't have to be somewhere that I'm trying to get to. And that's not to say that with a home practice you can't also build something. And yoga, Adriene has done several series of sort of like a 30-day yoga camp, kind of different variations on that, where every day for 30 days you do sort of maybe about a 20-minute yoga practice that she's custom designed to sort of build from beginners to more kind of intermediate or comfortable, doing all kinds of things. And that's something that I've done in the past as well. I have only done that through once. It's great to feel the satisfaction of changing and shifting and becoming more competent. And if that fits in with your life at the time, like, I reckon totally do it. And one thing I wanted to say too, if you come to a difficult one in one of those 30-day progressions, you're pretty much guaranteed that the next day afterwards will be a lot easier, because they're designed to kind of ebb and flow. And so don't feel like if you struggle with one you can't carry on, because you can. And that kind of moves on to one of the other things that I think is really lovely about an at-home practice, and that's this thing of kind of learning to trust your own body and your own sensations and how it feels to be doing the practice, rather than looking in the mirrors at a gym or having an instructor come over and check and, you know, move your body into the right position. You might not be doing it exactly right all the time, but you can over time learn more and more what feels good to you and be in the move instead of just trying to create the look that that is supposed to be created. And I think that that's really valuable for something like yoga, because we all have different bodies in terms of like size and shape and what we're carrying with us and have brought with us to the mat. And so yeah, I think it's fabulous to be able to just be with yourself and not be distracted by other people, and have that opportunity to really feel into those moves. Yeah, and I think just like quite obviously, I think it probably comes back from other things that I've been saying, but it just makes it easier to have a daily practice, I think, if you're doing it at home, because you don't have to worry about like I say, transport and weather and, you know, your mood and stuff. One of the really fabulous things I think about Yoga with Adriene is that she's got videos for when you're menstruating or when you're sick, you know, like, and even if you didn't want to do a full one of those, you know, if you're just doing ones that are for sleep, like gentle ones for sleep at night, or or ones to relieve neck and shoulder pain and stuff like that. Things like this, you can always do something, and I think it makes it easy to do that daily practice. And I wanted to come through the real value of a daily practice, and like I say, I can't always do that consistently, but aspiring to that and feeling like I can keep coming back to that general kind of routine of having a daily practice is hugely valuable, because it just gives you that moment to be able, that little piece of time to be able to just sit with yourself and shift out of whatever else you've had in your head, to really feel into where you are. And what's lovely about, all that variety of options of, say if you're just doing sleep ones every night, if you just focus on sleep, and I think if you are having trouble with sleep, I reckon I'll link below my favorite one. It's a longer one, and I think the more difficulty you're having with sleep, the longer video you should do, because it really helps to take that time to really fully turn off. But what's lovely about a daily practice is that the days that you don't have as much time, or you feel like you just can't commit to a big session, the little sessions, if you're doing a little 5-minute one, it kind of, to your body and your mind, it kind of represents the bigger ones as well. Do you know what I mean? Like your body remembers doing the longer ones, or it becomes like a little microcosm of the larger videos sort of thing, and you can connect to that sense of peace and stuff more quickly when you've got a daily practice of the other times you've taken more time. I think through doing that as well, having this approach to yoga where I try to do it regularly, but I don't have any pressure on myself about results, I just do what suits me, is that it's helped me to really feel like what I do in terms of yoga is enough. Whatever I do, I can feel grateful for, and I feel like it's enough. And it makes it easier to return to it if I've been slack for a while. If I've had a period where I haven't managed to do yoga, it makes it easier to return to it, because there's not that same guilt. It's not the same as when you drop off from the gym and then you feel like you have to show up to your yoga teacher again or whatever, or that struggle of just walking back through the doors when you haven't been there for a while. That's not there. You can just come back to it when it feels good to come back to it. And I think that feeling of enough and letting go of guilt in itself is a wonderful thing. And it's also transferable to other areas of our life where we can feel like, yeah, what we do is enough. And there's so many great lessons you can learn on the yoga mat in terms of trusting yourself, trusting your body, feeling enough, learn to connect just with your core being. That brings a lot to the rest of my life. And I guess the last thing I wanted to say is just that for me, I used to do more meditation when I was younger. For me now, I prefer to do yoga instead, but in a way that tries to stay focused on what I'm doing rather than letting my mind wander too much while I'm doing the yoga. So it's a moving meditation, and I really like that because it's more active, and it allows me to have something to focus on and turn off from other kind of thoughts, and it just feels more integrated to me than just doing another thing that's focused in the mind. So yeah, those are my few little thoughts on why a daily yoga practice is a wonderful thing, and I would love to hear your thoughts below if this is something that you do. I just wanted to say, if you find yoga intimidating and it's something that you've never wanted to try, like I've definitely had friends who just feel like because of their body type or whatever that yoga was just not for them, I reckon try out some gentle morning practices and some gentle bedtime practices, and just, I think, you might be really surprised at how transformative that could be. Like I say, thinking about the grief that we carry and the ways that we move in the world with all of the things that we know. I'd love to hear if you've just got other simple, gentle things. Put in the comments below, that becomes a valuable tool for all of us as well, to just, to just hear what ways you find to take care of your body and soul. I'll leave it there. Ka kitea no hoʻoramai. See you in a couple of weeks.